Is there FOMO in the stock market? Look at this pattern on Nvidia. 114 options implied move is roughly a neckline on an inverse head and shoulders. And there was a really big move in the early afternoon today. So, what exactly could happen to cause a bullish pattern here? Well, at roughly 1 o'clock, Nvidia has held discussions about joining OpenAI's funding round at $100 billion, along with Apple and Microsoft. Whoa, and greed is back. Yes. So if we look a little bit closer, this explains the move that happened into the afternoon, and most stocks actually went down around this time. So if we really think about this, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, OpenAI, greed, what does all this stuff mean? Is greed good? Well, that's exactly what we want to talk about today. I asked in a poll yesterday, and roughly 1,400 people responded that the next move on the S&P is going to be down. But people seem bullish right now. Look at Dan Ives saying that Nvidia and others are going to build $3 to $4 trillion market caps on AI. Whoa, that's a huge statement. Now let's listen to Gene Munster, who is staking his career on exactly this topic, AI.
You got to think the long-term play, and there's the near term, and that's what's the vortex that's going around Nvidia today. And I generally react to a view of where the world is going. In the case of with Nvidia, it's a belief, a strong belief. I'm staking my career that AI is going to be having a bigger impact than the internet. And if that's the case, this trading around Nvidia today is largely noise, even though it is a $3 trillion company. And the reason why I still am comfortable and think of this in that same class as Apple and Microsoft is that ultimately is if you believe that AI is going to be as transformative, more transformative than the internet. And there's a second belief you have to have is that the way to get there is through scaling laws, which basically say you have to throw more compute and data at the problem to solve for intelligence. Then NVIDIA is going to be a winner. And I think that it is in a great place. I do want to add an additional angle to the context of just buy and hold forever is that Deepwater, we own NVIDIA. I think the next 2 years are going to be far better than what people are expecting today. But at some point, when you're a hardware-only company, there is a point of deceleration that needs to be taken into consideration. And I think that 2 years, 3 years from now, this may be a position that will trim. But we think today is the time to own it.
Ooh, right. Pretty spicy quote there. And this guy's taking his career on it. He's a veteran of the space. And this is what I heard him say. I heard him say that NVIDIA needs to be more than just a hardware company. Well, isn't that exactly what this would do? It would take the biggest hardware company for chips, which is NVIDIA, along with Apple, which has hardware and software and is already a partner with OpenAI, along with Microsoft to give them the trifecta. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. But the market didn't really like the reaction. Right now, the market's going into greed, and greed, again, extreme fear is for buying. Extreme fear, buy. Extreme greed, sell. Extreme fear, buy. We're not even into extreme greed yet. We're only just getting into greed. But what exactly is happening? Because yesterday we talked about these inverse signals for inverse QQQ, SPY, QQQ, and SHARC. Yes, that's the Chips Lead Tech and Tech Lead SPY. Look at the last week. Let's make it simpler to follow along. Oh, so basically sell all these guys. Apple's unique in that it's not red. All these other ones are red. These are all the big high momentum trades. That's what this is telling us. They're looking soft for potentially the next 3 weeks. But value investing does make money too. Again, we talked about this yesterday. Warren Buffett just crossing that $4 trillion number. And we also talked about how there is going to be robotic buying. We estimate 17 billion of emotional demand between robots and corporates every day this week. Isn't that what we saw on the tape? Yes, that's what I saw today. And options point to gains in the market that's like a beach ball that's going to jump out of the water. We could go up as much as 2.4% into September. Simply put, RSP closed at a new record high today. I'm going to ask you for a huge favor. If you could please consider smashing that thumbs up and subscribing to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. So RSP, new record high and all-time high. XLF, new record close. XLV, new record close. Dow Jones, you got it, new record close. The DAX or Germany, new record close, which means that the equal weight S&P, new all-time highs. Financials, new all-time highs. Healthcare, new all-time highs. Dow Jones, new all-time highs. The DAX, new all-time highs. Let's watch the short clip because this might give you a little bit of appreciation for whether or not what Gene Munster said is actually real. Is AI going to be the future? Let's just see what he's typing here. This is to Claude. So create a bill splitting app that can be used for multiple people and sliders to set the percent for each person, blah, blah, blah. Let's just jump ahead here for a second. So he types it all out. Now the app is starting to say, cool, I can build an app for you. And in about 30 seconds, it starts actually writing it. It's writing the code for you right now. Okay, all right, it's starting to compress it. Now it's going to give you an output. Let's jump to the output here. Boom, here you go. Here's the app. He tests it out. You can see it did exactly what he asked for. So chatbots are like really important. Claude would be a competitor to ChatGPT. So what does this really mean? It means this is like the future. So the headline here is RIP App Stores 2008 to 2024. There you go. There's your tombstone. So Nvidia is realizing that, hey, if we want to go mega big up next leg, we are going to have to make sure that we're not falling behind. And these same companies understand the same thing. Again, they're joining the funding round. Apple and Microsoft are already at the table, and they're saying $100 billion valuation. Hey, that makes sense to me. But let's tie this all together because this is a stock market channel, and we like looking at charts. So if now we have a look here to the economic calendar for tomorrow, remember, tomorrow at 8:30, we get core PCE. This is going to be very important for the Fed. Not to beat that dead horse, we've talked about it plenty. The easiest thing for us to look at is remember that the market is more than just a few stocks. The S&P got to 563.68 today, which is within about $1.50 of the all-time high. But charts like RSP, RSPT, IWM, DIA, lots of charts are bullish. And the most important thing going into tomorrow, you're not going to be surprised, it's basically going to be weekly and monthly candle closes. So tomorrow, are we going to hold on to the low? Are we going to close over the candle high? As of right now, that's a failed breakout. And sorry, is that a failed breakout? 563.19. Yes, it is. Failed breakout, higher high, higher low. Spin that however you want. On the monthly chart, it's the same thing. We're currently green on the month. I'm sure the bears are going to tell me why that's bearish, right? Please drop me a comment. Tell me why green on the month is bearish. People seem to get so worked up yesterday. You guys got a simple 4-step recipe. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the bears win. You guys barely got to number 1. All right, moving on. QQQ. So if chips lead tech and tech lead SPY, well, this is not a good chart. We're already below last week's low. So again, the S&P is important, but what I would note is that even with these red blocks in the last week, the S&P is holding up. It's not breaking down. It's right around all-time highs. So this chart's important if you're a tech investor. Same thing on the monthly. Oh my God, we're red. Yes, we're red by 41 cents. The one part I also don't like, though, is that we're currently pointing down, and we've just rejected off the 50 MA. Finally, SMH. Because if there's going to be more downside for chips, this is where we're going to see it. Look, we're battling for that key previous all-time high at 239.14. This is particularly important because we went from 200 to 50, and we've rejected. If we're going to go back down, this is the warning sign. Look at the weekly. Yuck. Right, the start of a head and shoulders here. That's a bearish pattern. And on the monthly, it's not good either because we're going to be below that key area. All right, with that said, thank you so much for tuning in. Hang out with me at 9:15 a.m. tomorrow. If not, watch the video on the left. Thanks so much.